All right, guys, I'm up and going. There's nobody in here. Good, so you don't hear my dog barking. One person. So at this point, if you're new, all you do is type in a question in the chat. If not, you know the drill. Do 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 do. Ugh. No question. Lovely. Short stream. Maybe today. It'll let me get back to playing Zelda. Cutting into my video game playing time to help nobody.
There's a monk.
None whatsoever. There's only one person on the stream.
Cool beer.
It is Wednesday, and I only have like 9 things turned in for this week, and this week by far is the easiest week.
Get more questions on Wendigo.
Not really. That's because I go on there to check emails a lot.
No, I know.
Also,
Schoology mess.
yeah, but they're not really pertinent math questions. Super glue and cinnamon. So yeah, I gotta fix the color on the monitor over there because it looks like my shirt's blue there, but when I look on the stream, you can see it's slightly green.
Huh. Because it looks like your blue shirt. Blue one just.
Really?
Yeah, exactly like your.
Yeah, because this is definitely green. I would say there's 2 people, but it's really just still 1 because you counted. Got on to moderate. Same deal, 15 minutes and no questions, then bounce. So, do you think I should do systems next week for Algebra 2, or should I do absolute value inequalities? Just by doing substitution and Gaussian elimination. Versus what? I was looking for those. Or absolute value inequalities. The eraser's on the cap.
Yeah, I was making sure.
It's an erasable marker.
Yeah.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I don't have all my colored pens. I gotta go to the school tomorrow and sift through packets. I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow or just do it Friday. Send an email to everybody on what I've gotten, what I haven't gotten. Someone down there waiting to move the camera. Because this will allow me, as kids, because seeing how the school is allowing, there is no such thing as late work. At a certain point, they're going to have to, in my opinion, cut them off. Because we're now, what, in week 5 of this?
Oh, yeah.
Week 5 of this? You can't be turning stuff in from 5 weeks. Yeah, I get they want them to do the work, but at a certain point, there's got to be accountability. You can't take 4 or 5 weeks off and then flood it in.
Right.
Because now it's a huge headache for me to go in and modify grades. Because they lock the grade book and I have to go through a whole series of stuff to update the grade. Yeah. It's just not as simple going Skyward and click something. It goes in Skyward, click about 5 things and wait for it to get approved. Uh-huh.
Not like it says this problem approximation the square root of x of x equals f prime of a times minus a.
Mm-hmm.
Add a linear f of x approximate.
Look at the formula.
But he has the formula. F of a plus f prime of a
Seemed to be, what I remember is a whole lot, was really easy.
That's what I'm saying. I remember it being like, don't remember.
Right. So I think it's like this: the square root of 17. Right? So I'm going to say my x is 17. My a, I want to say is 16. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So then they do f of a. So that would be f of a. What was it? Plus f prime of a times x minus a. That's time. All right. So I think this is what it is. So you're going to do the square root of 16 plus, well, we got to take the derivative of square root of, this is going to be x to the 1/2. This gives me 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. 1 over 2 square root x. I want to roll with that. Should be right. Minus 1, put the 1 in front. This is on. Yeah, that's right. plus then 1 over 2 times the square root of 6 times 17 minus 6. This gives me 4 plus.
Oh, because
1 over 8 times a negative 1. Nope, times 1. Okay. X minus A. Okay. So this gives me, what is 1/8? About 4.125. Square root of 17. 4.123, yeah. That works. That's easy enough. You take the derivative of the original function. So your function, your f of x is the square root of x. So you take the derivative of that, and then once you have your x and your a is your closest perfect root. And then the x minus a, this is the delta whatever, that the way I learned it. It's the difference of.
Oh, okay.
Are there any questions? That's not terribly bad. 4.125 is a pretty decent approximation because the actual square root of 17 is 4.1231. So it's off. It's got a margin of error of 10 to the negative. 10 to the negative 2 accuracy.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what that makes sense. All right. From one of 5.09 to the negative 2.
It's your margin of error, meaning it was right to 2 decimal places. Yeah, I didn't think linear approximation was that hard. Nothing else. Well, it's going to be a short stream. Go in there and play some Zelda. Matter.
They have her do like she's L1 and
yeah, the error is like the 10 to the negative 2.
That one, but the error is like 10 to the negative 7. Using your
It's just a distance. It means it's plus or minus from that number. So if you have an error that's like the absolute value of. So if you have an error with absolute value, if you have a number here, it could be an error either direction. One of the big things that they didn't stress when I take calculus is actually how you use the absolute value and everything. So I've kind of had to fill in the gaps on my own. In fact, I can't remember a single calculus question where when I took calculus I had an absolute value in it. Ah. 14 minutes. New questions. I think today, tomorrow, and Friday is going to be like this, 15 minutes and done. Because all the questions have been from the previous weeks. Most of that stuff should be done. Nothing from this week. I had Miss Posey. She sent me an email saying if she was a student and she knew how to solve that problem on option 2, she would totally write the essay. So, got multiple responses from teachers that they like the idea of having an essay as an option. Because if they can once they solve the problem, if they can explain it in words, it activates it in a different part of their brain. That writing to learn. Okay. That's 15 minutes. You want to call it or you want to? We'll give it till 5:20. If nobody asks a question, then I'm out. That's like in 4 minutes. It's a regular log question or a derivative?
This one is
F of x equals what? Oh, that's actually, they just want to know the domain. 4. They just want to know the domain. Well, so all you do is do 4 minus x squared is greater than 0 and solve. We're going to get negative x greater than 4, x less than 4, x is less than plus or minus 2, which is interesting because now if we come here, put these on here, negative 2, 2, row 5, negative 5 to do the inequality test, plug them in. ln of 4 works, so this works. 25, 4 minus 25, this does not work, this does not work. My answers have to be, let's see, 2 gives me 4, 4 has to be from negative 2 to 2. That's not hard, that's a high school question. Yeah, because most people don't know them. They struggle with logs, I don't know why. Next week I'll have a few more questions when we do for Algebra 2. Maybe. Solving absolute value equations. But those still aren't terribly bad. I was thinking about doing a problem like this. Absolute value of x absolute value minus 1 minus, that pretty much tells me at, let's say, 700 miles per hour. You have a wind blowing, so this is going due north. You have a wind blowing east, right? So north, this will be west. So you have a wind blowing east, let's say 55 miles per hour. What is the
backwards?
Yeah. What's the actual, like, what's the speed of the actual plane? These are just adding, doing a parallelogram method for adding vectors for your resultant vector, right? Which makes this 700 squared plus 55 squared equals your resultant, call that a squared, and just go from there. So it's actual physics, but very, very basic physics. 700 squared plus 55 squared. Where the actual speed of the plane ends up being approximately 700.2 miles per hour because the wind actually speeds it up a little bit.
Oh, because
yeah. So it's not This isn't a terribly bad problem, and it would prepare him for IPL. But I opted against it because it'd all be word problems. Then I thought about doing this. Because apparently the only place where it's to teach how to add vectors geometrically is in pre-calculus, using the parallelogram method. So you have a plane that's going, let's say due north again. Let's use the same number, 700 miles per hour, right? And then you have a tailwind that's going northeast at 45 degrees at 30 miles per hour, right? This is 45 degrees. So you draw your parallelogram, right? And then you need to know this right here. Well, I was trying to figure out how the kids could actually know how to solve this. Let's call this 300 square root 2. That should make life easier. But I couldn't really figure a way that my basic geometry kids could figure this one out without having to use trig. So, oh, this would work. Well, no, watch. This would work. 700. I can bring this out, make this 90 degrees, right? And this then would be a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which would make this 30. That makes this whole leg 730, which is then still a right triangle. This is 30. Probably not. So 730 squared plus 30 squared. I don't even know if this is going to work. Let me finish this problem. I don't even know if this one works. 730 squared plus 30 squared. This says 730.6 miles per hour. Doesn't seem right. Simply because if I do 100, huh? Huh? Here I would just use law of cosine. 700 squared plus 30 squared minus 2. 700 times 30 cosine of 135 degrees. No. I'm just saying if that way would actually work.
Is this the limit? Us?
From the right.
Oh, so it is part of the zero.
Yeah, it's part of the zero. From the right. Plus 30 squared. 30. Yeah, see, the actual answer is 721.5. Approximate. So yeah, that way it doesn't work. What that is it? 30 root plus 7. No, I can't give that to the kids. That's not going to work. That number's bigger than that. That number was bigger. Component, right? Alright. I'm stopping the stream. Well, there's 3 people on here now. Any questions? Been here for 28 minutes, no questions. If not, I'm going to stop the stream. You know what? Let me double check that one problem first, and then I'll stop the stream. Now I'm doing math, I might as well we'll just leave it on there. So if I'm going north, 700 miles per hour. East, let's call this 60 miles per hour with the wind through the parallelogram. For my resultant, those are due. So I should be able to do 700 squared 60. And that should be my resultant vector. Should be. $702. All right, so that's easy enough. So let's break each one of these down. So let's call this one direction. So that'll be due north. Vector 1 in the y, 700. Vector vector cosine is my y component. Perfect. Because I just shifted it. Which is fine. If I would have done this at 0.90. Oh wait, these should. Yeah. That's the only way I can give the geometry kids these type of problems.
Y is I guess.
It doesn't matter.
I know, because it says let y equals the back.
It's just a change of variable. All right, I'm done. Ain't nobody asking questions. There's a grand total of 3 people on here. Alright guys, I am ending the stream due to lack of interest. I will be back up at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully I have some questions at that point. If not, it'll be another short stream.